I hope you all enjoyed your 3-day weekend. Back to it. Back to more chaos. Back to more lunacy. Uh, Back to more division from the madman who is running our country and the Republican Party who is enabling his tyranny, I guess we can call it. He has brought chaos to the streets of American cities. He has brought pessimism and darkness to the minds of the American people. And today he is going to speak with reporters at the White House. Oh, this should be fun. Let me fix what's going on here. Okay, we are waiting for Trump to, I guess, probably get out of bed at this point. I don't know if he was up until 4 in the morning, uh, tweeting and truthing. Don't know what he was up to. But we will find out. Let's see here. Everything good? Everything working? Awesome. Okay. Um, in the meantime, we've got great videos that we're going to be watching afterwards in case, or before, perhaps, maybe, if, Donald Trump decides he's going to take another 20 minutes to show up to this thing. Um, we've got great videos of people across the world just slamming Donald Trump and the chaos that he has brought to not only us Americans but the world, as he is now talking about taking over Greenland. Just an absolutely insane place that we're at these days. Absolutely insane. But yes, if I will be in the chat for the meantime while we wait for the bozo to take the microphone. So if you want to let me know where you're watching from, that would be great. Um, let's see. Why is this guy moving? Okay. All right. There it is. All right. I think I can lock that in place. Always fun watching streamers wrestle with their software technology. Am I right? Okay. Southern California, let's go camping. That's where it's at. I am also in Southern California, San Diego to be exact. We got Wisconsin in the house, New Mexico in the house. Welcome, welcome, guys. Molly, Dennis, welcome, guys. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, I wonder how it's been, um, especially in places like uh, beautiful weather. Yeah, it's been the past week has been just out of this world. Um, like, is this even real? It's like been 75 degrees in San Diego. Incredible. Um, yeah, I'm always curious as to how places like, and I don't know if if you're in Wisconsin and South Dakota and New Mexico, if you guys are in uh like rural areas, or how it feels for you guys to you're here. I'm guessing you kind of are a little, you lean a little bit towards like the progressive side of things. I wonder what it's like for you in some of these like rural places. Um, just because from, I'm like an urban dweller in San Diego. San Diego is kind of not like, we've got such a heavy military influence that like um it's not quite as like liberal as the rest of the bigger cities in California, as liberal as they are. Um, but from what I see on like media and reporting, is that like rural America is largely dominated by these Republicans and this Trump administration. So I'm always curious to see, like, from people on the ground in rural parts of these states, is it really true, or are we starting to see kind of a deterioration of support from him. Kiwi chick, nice, from New Zealand. We've got the world covered on Reflect Politics, man. I love it. Amazing. Robert Ward from Clovis, California. I keep wondering if Trump takes Greenland, is Canada next? We got to stop this guy. You know, yeah, that's totally valid concern there. I'm more concerned about just Trump using the rhetoric, talking about taking Greenland. We've seen that Sergei Lavrov, the I don't know if he's the like the Russian foreign minister. He's like their Secretary of State. I think he's now quoting Donald Trump. Um, he says Donald Trump says that taking Greenland is vital to the security of the United States and their hemisphere. He says we see taking Ukraine as the same for us. It's vital to the health of Russia. It's vital to the security of Russia and the Russian hemisphere. I mean, absolutely wild that he is spitting talking points and views on the global economy and global foreign policy that is in line with Russians. Because I think we all know that Donald Trump is compromised. It's clear, um, clear as day, and so that's why really that's why I think this guy has turned into the lunatic that he is, right? Because you really have to think about it, man. So he doesn't really have a safe space in this world. He knows that the Russians have the compromat on him, whether that's what is in the Epstein files. He knows that the U.S. government and the Department of Justice, at least in times past, have gone after him because he, stole documents and tried to rig the election and tried to uh, host an insurrection. um, and he's also in his home state. He has been convicted of 34 counts of falsifying documents in the first degree, 34 counts of fraud. So, like Donald Trump, there's kind of when you start to see that this guy is truly, he's like a wanted man. Then you kind of understand, like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't know how anyone else could like uh, mentally process the world around them when they literally have like no friends and no safe spaces. Um, and that's why we see him with people who are just like bootlickers and people who will just say yes sir, oh yes sir, like the Stephen Millers. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why he likes people like Stephen Miller, because Stephen Miller is also a guy who doesn't have any safe spaces, right? He doesn't. You can just see when Stephen Miller kind of talks, and you can tell that he's like not even safe in his own skin. Um, and that's why I think Donald Trump likes him, and that's why I think Donald Trump likes his vindictiveness and violence and um, like thirst to take over the world. The Wackadoodles says, I'm a leftist. I came from Florida, which was mega country. I live in a suburban area. No Trump flags or bumper stickers left here. I actually live a town away from where Noam grew up. Interesting. Interesting. Um, a Russian asset for sure. Knew that for a long time. Yeah. Uh, he's really late as usual. As usual. Yeah. More time to ramp up his crazy, dangerous rhetoric. Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if, I think that Trump is, he, when he has like kind of events like this where he has the press in like the palm of his hand, I think that he intentionally does this to them to make them as uncomfortable as possible, because again, the guy is just absolutely cruel. That's how Trump gets off. He gets off on like putting his boot on the back of people's necks. He gets off on making people feel uncomfortable. That's, that's who we have. That's who we have. Okay, here he comes slowly.
Wow, that's a big crowd.
Yeah. Okay. All right,
A lot of
Don.
people. I think it's like a record. So these are accomplishments.
Let's see if he.
We have a lot of accomplishments, and as you know, this is the anniversary, first anniversary, January 20th, and it's been an amazing period of time. We have
How we doing?
a
Audio
book
good?
that
You guys
I'm
can
not
hear
gonna
him?
read to you, but these are the accomplishments of what we've produced. All
Oh my
page
God, he's
after
such a
page
child.
after page, individual things. I could stand here and read it for a week and we wouldn't be finished. But we've done more than any other administration has done by far in terms of military, in terms of ending wars, in terms of completing wars. Nobody's really seen very much like it. I think it's appropriate that
Completing
because
wars?
Minnesota is so much in the fray,
talking
and I
about,
say to
man?
my people all the time, and they're so busy doing other things, they don't say it like they should. They're apprehending murderers and drug dealers and a lot of bad people, and these are just some of the more recent ones that we have, and I can show you some of
Yep.
the
Yep. Show those brown people, Don.
vicious, many of them murderers. These are all out of Minnesota, just Minnesota. I say, why don't you talk about that more?
Okay. So
Because
pathetic.
people don't know. Do you want to live with these people? International murder. These are people that are living, they're apprehended and either put in jails in their country from where they came, and the countries respect us, and so they actually put them there. In the old days, they didn't respect our country. Biden wouldn't do this because he let them all in. You know, if you didn't have open border policies of Biden, none of this, all of the things
Yeah,
that
okay.
all the time that we spend talking about
I really
Minnesota
think
and
he
everything
might
else, most
just
of them are coming
he might
from out
just
of
give
the
his
country.
campaign speech,
And
the same speech he's been giving for like the past 4 years.
and caused by a previous administration. Look at this, one after one.
One after one. Yep.
Boy, these are rough
Yep.
characters.
You're all there, Donald.
These are all criminal, illegal aliens that,
Oh my God.
in many cases, they're murderers, they're drug lords.
I want one of those criminal illegal
dealers.
aliens to shoot me in the face right
They're
now,
mentally
Donald.
insane.
You are
Some of
so
them
incredibly
who are brutal killers, they're mentally
hard to
insane.
watch.
They're killers, but they're insane. These are just in Minnesota. In California, it's worse. In other states, it's worse. No, Minnesota, the crime is incredible. The financial crimes are incredible. And the problem is because of the agitators and insurrectionists, whatever you want, troublemakers, but they're paid agitators and insurrectionists.
You're not gonna, dude.
Nobody talks about the fact
He
that
uses the
$19
word
billion
insurrectionist to
at a
try
minimum
to
is missing
shift
in
the narrative away
Minnesota,
from his
given
insurrection.
to a large
Yeah, that's
degree
not going to happen, Don.
by Somalians. They've taken it.
Okay.
Somalians,
Yep.
can you imagine?
Yeah. Okay,
And
Don.
they don't do it.
Okay,
a lot
Don.
of very low IQ people, they don't do it. Other people work it
So
out,
racist.
and they get them money.
Oh, he's so
and they go
racist.
out and buy Mercedes Benzes, and they come from here. They have no money. They never had money. They never had a life. They never had a government. They never had a country, because there's basically no country. Somalia is not even a country. They don't have anything that resembles a country. And if it is a country, it's considered just about the worst in the world. They come here and they become rich, and they don't have a job. I was
34
told
counts
that
of fraud,
Ilhan
Don.
Omar is worth $30 million.
Sit down and
She
shut
never
up.
had a job. She's a crooked congressman. So here is another one. And I have, oh, by the way, we just took out, that's what, these are all what ICE is doing. And it's a dangerous job. These are rough people.
See how brown these people are?
Weapons,
See how brown they are?
very bad.
And if I have to shoot a mom in the face, then I will to get these brown people.
I'm going
away
through this because I think we have plenty of time.
from the
going
United
to,
States.
Beautiful place in Switzerland, where we'll be. I'm sure I'm very happily awaited for. In Switzerland, they don't know about this. They don't have this problem. They have other problems, but they don't have this problem. Look,
Oh, he's so racist.
killed somebody. And these are rough people. These are not. This was all allowed into our country.
Yeah,
through
yeah.
Open borders.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
dumbest policies. You know, men and women's sports is dumb. But to me, having an open border for the world to come in, drug dealers and prisoners. Venezuela, as an example, opened their prisons into the United States. That's why one of the reasons I felt so strongly against Venezuela. Now I'm loving Venezuela. They've been working with us so well. It's been so nice.
Yeah, he just thinks he's a stand-up
And,
comedian.
An unbelievably nice woman also
Oh man.
did a very
Honestly, I
incredible
wish he
thing,
would have
as you know, a few
pursued that
days ago.
career, not this, because
we're talking to her, and maybe we can get her involved in some way. I'd love to be able to
the
do
country
that.
wouldn't be in such
Maria,
a terrible
maybe
position
we can do
that it's
that.
in.
But we're dealing with the people and the president and all of the people in Venezuela, and we've been doing great. The oil companies are getting ready to make massive investments there. They have more oil than even Saudi Arabia. There you go.
Keep showing brown people, man. Yep, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
These are real. These are rough. This is all Minnesota, every one of them. This is one state out of many. And these people are, let's see, yeah, these are all so far.
Oh man, I wish a reporter would
people
hold
that
up
came
his
from
mugshot.
outside of the country. They were allowed in by
Hey Donald, what about
Sleepy
this
Joe
guy?
Biden, Crooked Joe Biden, whichever you like. You can call him whatever you like. They're both right. He's sleepy and he's crooked. He was the worst president we've ever had. And we've had some
And
bad
yet
ones
he
too.
beat you.
I can tell you, all you have to do is look at trade. You're not getting bored
God,
with
what
this,
does he
right?
have?
I
Like
hope
a
you don't.
dozen more?
But these are people
What
that
a
you have to
loser.
see.
What a loser. Oh my God.
Strong arm rape, aggravated assault with a weapon, and many other crimes.
Rape, you say, Don? Rape?
Gang member, known as one of the toughest people around.
Oh my God, he's a
These are
child.
tough people. So this is what the people are trying to protect, because all ICE wants to do is get them out of our country, bring them to prisons and jails and mental institutions. From
At the
where they
expense
came.
of our
That's all they wanna
constitutional
do.
rights, right?
They're
At the expense
patriots,
of the
and they
Fourth
have to be
Amendment,
abused
right?
By
Like,
guys
come
like
on.
Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did in that church was horrible yesterday.
What they did in the
Look at it
church
here.
was
24
horrible.
convictions.
Okay. Right.
24 times convicted. They're not charges. These are convictions. So he comes from outside the country. Do you think he's going to be good here? He's convicted 24 times. He's going to be good here, right? It doesn't work that way. It's a man murder. It's one of many. One of many. All they want to do is get him out. They want to take him out of our country. And we're met with paid agitators and insurrectionists, troublemakers. They're paid. You know, when the woman was shot, and I felt terribly about that.
Why?
And
She was a domestic
I
terrorist,
understand
Don.
both sides of it.
What do you
When she
mean?
was shot,
What do you mean you feel
there
bad?
was another woman that was screaming shame, 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 right? You saw it. So loud. She was like a professional opera singer. She was so loud and so professional. She wasn't a woman that was hurt, like, oh, my heart's injured. She was a professional. She's shame, shame. She's screaming shame, shame. I said, that's not a normal person. That's
Yeah,
a
dude.
professional.
He's completely fucking
These
lost
are
it.
professional
What are you
agitators and
talking
professional
about?
People that want to see our country do badly.
What are you talking?
It's not happening
Oh my
because we have
God,
the
this guy.
hottest country anywhere in the world.
Holy
despite
shit.
This stuff.
What
Look at
are
this.
you fucking talking about? She yelled shame, and so
top
she's
of
a
the line.
paid agitator. Oh,
Criminals.
bro,
They're
come
not
on,
gonna
Mega.
be good.
Come on, man.
They're not gonna
You
be
can't
well-behaved
believe
here.
this guy, right? Come on, Mega.
I
Come
could
on,
do
guys.
thousands. We had over
Come on, man.
3,000
Like,
in
you're all
the
not
last
that dumb,
barely
are
showed
you?
well. Just in Minnesota.
Come on,
What's the
man.
number, Carol? 10,000. 10,000 criminals. And these are serious.
These are people
Criminals.
you
Now,
say are
how can a
criminals,
place with
right?
10,000
Because we can
criminals-
trust you guys, right?
How can you have a state? And yet they're fighting us. Yeah, I like that guy. Keeps nodding to me. You agree with me, I guess. I like him. I don't know who he is, but I like him. He keeps nodding. He says, "You're right."
Oh my
He's
God! Look at the
obviously a little
press.
on the
They
right
are just
side,
like
but,
stunned.
Look, these are rough ones.
This is atrocious, guys.
So we just took this off a stack. We have many stacks like this. Like I could go 30 times what I'm showing you now.
How about you answer some fucking questions? You piece of shit.
Relations with Hezbollah.
Answer
that's
some
nuts.
fucking questions, you piece of shit.
Why do we allow them in our country?
It's picture time with Donald. So pathetic. So fucking
Just look at
pathetic,
these charges.
man.
It's just pretty incredible. Many murderers, many murderers. People that murdered.
We've got some breaking news. It looks like federal prosecutors have issued subpoenas to 5 Democratic officials in Minnesota,
So what-
including
what?
Jacob
Ice
Fry
guys
and
and Border Patrol
probably
is incredible.
the St. Paul mayor,
Paul Perez and
her.
that group is incredible.
Wow. Probably
Mostly
Tim Walz
Hispanic, by
in
the
there
way,
too.
Like 60% Hispanic. You know, they talk about Hispanic. They're mostly Hispanic, right? And they're unbelievable people. And then they say, "Oh, we discriminate against." I love Hispanic. They are.
You love
unbelievable.
Hispanic?
Entrepreneurial. They have everything. I did great. I did the highest. Nobody ever got numbers
All
like
right.
I got.
Blood's
from the
boiling.
standpoint of being a Republican, but even the.
It's
you
working,
look at
Don.
Texas,
It's
they
working,
won the
man.
Entire border.
It's working. Your
Texas
stupidity
between
and
Texas
cruelty
and Mexico.
has
Never
made my
happened
blood
before.
boil.
Nobody's
Good job,
ever done
man.
that before I did it. As a
Awesome. Your
Republican, I did it.
racism.
I love the Hispanic. And they
Has
accuse
made
us
my
of all
blood
sorts
boil.
of things. 60% of the people. we're talking about,
Congrats.
they're the best people we have, and they're
See?
Hispanic.
We own the
Border
libs
Patrol is
because we
largely
make them so
Hispanic.
mad
ICE
because
is
they care
largely
about people.
Hispanic. They're unbelievable people.
We don't care. We don't care
I
about
don't know how they
anyone
can
or
take the
anything.
abuse. They're taking
Aren't we
rough.
so cool?
They're taking rough people like this.
You're
like
almost
all of
out, Don.
we have. So we have
Dude,
10,000.
it
at
would not
least.
surprise me, you guys,
I
if
could've
he
done
just
10,000,
doesn't
and then
take any
lucky I only
questions.
did like 100.
If he just runs
and this is
away.
Just, this isn't even the worst of the group. They have murderers. They have some people we can't use their picture for legal reasons, but they're up for murder in their own country, and
What?
we jeopardize their case.
Come on, Don.
When we send them back,
Take
we
some
send
questions,
them back
clown.
and we coordinate with other countries. A tremendous amount of work. All allowed in here by an open border policy of the worst president in the history of our country. A
Yeah,
man
yeah.
that didn't win the election, by the way, it was a rigged election. Everybody knows that now. And by the way, numbers are coming out that show it even more.
Oh, yeah?
plainly.
They're still coming out,
We caught him.
Don? They're still coming out?
Caught 'em.
He's just giving the
So
same
I just
campaign
want you to
speech.
know that. It's
What a
it's
clown.
terrible.
What a loser.
it's a terrible.
There you
thing.
go.
Here's
What else you got for us,
the book
Don?
on accomplishments.
Oh, my
And this is
God.
something-
Oh, my
my
God. Do
finger was
it.
in
Just
the
go
nut
page.
sucker.
Just go
That
page.
could have done some damage, but you know what? I wouldn't have shown the pain. I would have gone back. What, did you hear that?
Holy shit, he's amazed
That was
by.
nasty. But I would not have shown the pain. I would have acted like nothing happened as my finger fell off. That was a nasty. I think somebody did that. I think it was him. It was my man. How were you? You didn't do it. I know you did. I know you didn't. So.
God, you're
but
such
here's
a loser.
Here's the book. These are all.
Let's do it, Don.
I'm going to read a few of the
Try to
samples.
read.
Look at this.
Do it.
These are all. each
Do it,
line is
Donald.
something that we
Do it. Try to
did that
read.
before. And it's big stuff, too.
Do it. Then read
Look, we
something.
have the hottest country in the world.
Nope. Nope.
It was a dead
So,
country before I
I
came
will
in.
read you a few. We ended Biden's stagflation. We were in stagflation. That's a disaster. That's far worse than inflation. As you know, he had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years. Pick your choice. But they had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. We have it right down to a normal number now. We're going to get it even a little bit lower. Created super high. What we've done with growth is incredible. We created super high economic growth, and America is booming. It's booming.
Is
There are
that
thousands of
super high
businesses
economic
right now that are
growth
being
somewhere in the
built.
room with you, Don?
Many of the biggest factories in the world are being built right in our country. They're not
Hiring
going to
is
other
slowing.
countries. They're leaving other countries. Fourth quarter GDP is on track to pass perhaps much more than 5% growth, and that's despite the fact that we had a Democrat shutdown. They shut down our country, and we had 5%. Nobody's in this room has ever heard about 5%. I think it could be 20% if we do it right. If we don't, every time we have good numbers, they raise interest rates. You shouldn't. In the old days, if you had good numbers, they'd lower interest rates, or they wouldn't do anything. Here, they try and kill it. They always try and kill success. Over the last 20, 25 years, that's the way. In the old days, if you had good numbers, the market would go through the roof. Today, if you have good numbers, the market goes down. But by the way, we've had the best stock market in history, the best 401ks in history, and we inherited a mess. The numbers that we inherited were way up, and now we brought them, almost all of them, way down. We brought them way down. I mean, I'm not getting. Maybe I have the bad public relations
Again,
people.
he said he was
but we're
going to
not getting
read
it across. We inherited
and
high
read the
numbers,
word
and we brought them way down.
stagflation and then has
look
gone
at gasoline.
off
They
the
have
script.
Places in the country now,
Attention span
$1.99 a gallon.
down to zero.
199.
Reading
230,
comprehension
250.
down to zero.
Whereas the average now they're saying is 231.
Don, just read.
I mean, he was at 450 and
Read, Donald.
$5
Let's
for
see
periods
you
of time.
read for a minute.
And he went back to the.
I just
Trump
want to see you read like
formula, but he
30
didn't do
seconds.
it
Just read for
properly.
30 seconds straight,
He
man.
really went back to parts of it because you would have had $8 gasoline if they didn't.
Seriously, when
But
he starts
didn't do it
reading, I'm going to set a
properly, and
timer,
people
and I
that didn't know what
guarantee
they
you
were
he
doing.
cannot
Core
read for more
inflation
than 30
for the last
seconds.
3 months is 1.6%.
Hold on, Don. Hold on.
1.6.
Yeah. Okay.
Their
Nope.
core inflation
Nope.
was
Can't read.
so high that nobody could even calculate it.
Okay.
Under Biden, real incomes declined $3,000. Think of that, $3,000.
Nope. Okay.
That's a year.
Nope. Can't read.
In 12 months, Trump real incomes went up by $2,000 and $3,000, and even in some cases $5,000.
Nope. Okay. That's not
It's a
reading.
tremendous difference. Stock market
All
has
right,
set
start again.
52 all-time record highs during the course of the 11 months. 'Cause
Nope,
this was done on
that's
11
not reading.
Months. Now we are actually
Okay. He
officially
can't
12
go for
months
more than
as of
4
today.
seconds, guys.
52
Okay, here we go.
all-time record highs. That means 401ks did great. I have people see me all the
Nope.
time. Policemen
Can't
that
read.
guard us really well. And
He can't
got to know
read
him
for
a
more
little
than
bit.
like
They
2 or
said,
3
"Sir,
seconds,
you're making
guys.
me look so good. My 401ks through the roof. My
shit,
wife
man.
thinks I'm the greatest genius, that I'm a financial genius, like Warren Buffett. He told me that. He said, I think they have better returns than Warren Buffett right now. But he said, all my life, my wife
Because
has
you're
been
manipulating the
criticizing
markets,
me
dude. What?
for not being smart financially. Now all of a sudden she loves me more. But
Okay. Come on, Don. Let's
we
go.
added $9 trillion
Okay.
in value to retirement accounts, saving
You can do it.
many people. I mean, they were
Nope.
going out of business. Think of it. We added
Oh,
$9
dude,
trillion.
I so
of
want him to be
value
able to read
retirement
for 10
accounts,
seconds.
savings accounts, and 401ks.
Shit, I said a minute, and then I
That's
went
during
down to
the
30
course of
seconds, and
12
now it's at
months.
10
And I
seconds.
think it's probably 11
Right,
months.
what?
because
What? Oh
I don't
boy.
think they have it for the 12. They have it for the 11.
Come on, Don.
Added $9
Come on.
trillion of value. Lifted more than 1.2 million Americans off food stamps in 1 year. They would have had another 1.2
We're
million.
almost at 10
We would have
seconds,
had
Don.
welfare would have gone up,
Mm.
and instead of investing
Almost, buddy.
$18 trillion in our country, now it's probably more than that, but 18 trillion and having thousands of plants being built all over the country, you would have had thousands of plants closing all over the country, and you would have had disinvestment, and you would have had welfare going way up. You know, if you look at SNAP, take a look at SNAP, what happened with that? It was at $7 billion, and it came out to over $51 billion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it.
Nobody knows what you're talking about,
Past
man.
Administration,
God.
they had no clue. Or they were really bad, but they basically had no clue. But they did
they
have
could read.
a concept. I mean, they're still trying to sell the idea of men playing in women's sports. You saw that in the
Good
Supreme
one.
Court.
Good one.
I mean, some of those
Good one, Don.
justices were fighting for him too. They
You
were
got
fighting
us.
for 'em, but
Oh,
I saw that just the
oh,
other day in the Supreme
we're
Court.
so
Men
terrible.
Playing in women's sports.
Oh, we're
Yes, they
so
were.
terrible. Oh,
Secured a record-breaking $18 trillion in commitments for new investments. Apple, NVIDIA, SoftBank, Oracle, TSMC, Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly and Company, Micron, AstraZeneca, General Motors,
go.
Hyundai,
Okay. We got 10
Ford,
seconds, guys.
Honda,
Good job, Don. Make it
GE
20.
Aerospace, many, many others. I left a Ford plant
Nope.
a week ago in Michigan that they were going to close. 2
I'm
years
proud of
ago, and now they just announced
He made
that they're
it.
going
He read for
24
10
hours
seconds,
around the
guys.
clock making
Proud of you,
cars.
Don.
Tariffs did it. I don't know what the Supreme Court's going to do. I think
Answer
to me it reads so
some
plainly. Couldn't read
questions.
plainer.
You clown.
You're allowed to do a license. Tariff is probably less severe than what a license could be. But think of it. You're allowed to do a license, and then they have a clause at the end, something to the effect, or what is necessary, something to that effect. And what is necessary with tariffs? I don't know.
Yeah, Robert.
where
100%.
there's a case even there, but
He
we've
thinks
taken in
he's.
hundreds of billions.
He
of
thinks
dollars,
he's
and,
hilarious.
if
He
we
thinks
lose
just
that
all of
case,
his
it's
jokes are
possible
landing.
We're going to have to do the best we can in paying it back.
Oh,
I
man.
don't know how that's going to be done very easily without hurting a lot of people. But we're waiting for that case anxiously, and we have tremendous national security because of tariffs and tremendous income. You know, we have, and by the way, no inflation. So everyone said, oh, tariffs will cause inflation. We have no inflation. We have very little inflation. Biden had inflation, and he didn't do tariffs. We had a huge problem. We have a 62% reduction in our trade deficit. So if you had a 1% reduction, a normal president would have a 1%, 2% reduction. Everybody would be high-fiving. At a 62% reduction, next year we won't have a trade deficit.
I brought
We
prescription
secured
drug
most
prices
favored
down
nations
by
agreements to slash drug prices
1,600%
by to
because
me,
I
think
know
This
numbers.
might be the biggest
I
thing
can't
of all.
read, but I know those
We get
numbers.
Zero talk about it. The
Oh,
New York
buddy.
Times had a story way in the back of
Oh,
the paper,
buddy.
a little story about it. I think it's the biggest thing there is
Oh,
when you talk
buddy,
about
we're going
healthcare.
to destroy you in these
Drug
midterm
prices
elections,
will go
man.
down more than ever before for any country,
Oh.
because we were
Did I just call it?
priced at such a level that we were
Drug prices.
subsidizing the entire world.
Cool,
big
cool.
place in the world.
How much did you bring
We
him
were
down by,
paying
Don?
10, 12, 13 times more than other countries. 13 times more, not 13%, 13 times more. A pill that was selling in London for $10 would sell in New York for $130. That's 13 times. More than that even. But we secured most favored nations
What?
agreements to slash drug prices by as much as
What?
300, 400, 500, and even 600%, including with Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Eli Lilly, Nova Nordisk, Gilead Sciences, EMD, Serenio, and many others. If you look at some of the prices that are coming down, where a price would come down $1,300 coming down to $87. Think of it. So something that
Yeah,
was
that's
costing
cool, Don. Where are the Epstein files?
$1,300 is now costing $87.
Right. Where are the Epstein files,
And the
man?
fake news doesn't want to write about it. That's why
Yeah.
I do this. I don't like to do this, to be honest with you. But I do it because got to get the word out. We signed one
Yeah,
big,
yeah,
beautiful
I
bill.
so
I
knew
call
this
it the
was gonna
great,
be
big,
just like a
beautiful bill,
campaign
delivering the
event.
largest tax cuts in history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime.
Okay, let's
We
just
made
get a
interest
guess
on car loans,
how many
tax
questions
deductible for
he's going to
U.S.
take.
built automobiles only. So
I
the bill
think
you
that
buy
Carolyn
an
Levitt has
automobile
told
built
him
in the
to
United
only
States,
pick
we're
on like
doing it
these
for
few
Germany and
people.
Canada and
So I think he'll
different
take.
places.
I'm going to
We're
say
doing it only if it's built here. We want them to be built
4, and they're all going to
A lot of the
come from the
Canadian,
right side of the
auto
room. The people standing
Plants are
up.
closing and they're
who
moving into the United
these,
States.
you know,
Same thing with Mexico.
if he takes
same
any,
thing with
right?
Germany, and same thing with Japan and other countries. They're moving into the United
Okay,
States.
Don, we're bored.
Because they don't want to pay the tariffs.
We're bored, Don.
It's too much. They can't pay the tariffs.
You know what I'm doing?
So
I
they're
have this
coming
like.
here. Nothing
I got
different
like
than
a
what other
package
smart
sent in this little
countries
bubble
did.
wrap. I'm
But it
popping
works
the
better
bubbles
for
in the
us.
bubble wrap.
Under my leadership,
God bless
it's
you
not
guys for
done
being here.
properly, but it's done properly.
I think we all
have,
just like being tortured.
again, more
I think
plants
we're all
being
just
built than at
masochists.
any time in the history of our country. Passed the largest spending cuts in American history.
got a
That
headache.
was true in my first. We
Hang
had a
in there,
tremendous
Amy.
First term also. We rebuilt our military. We had one of the best. We had the best economy
I really want
in the history
him
of our
to
country. But we're blowing
take
it away now.
questions
This,
from,
when this stuff
like,
starts
Caitlin
opening up, you're not going to
Collins
see anything
or-
like it probably ever again.
or the Irish journalist
We
who
slashed the
told
federal
Carolyn
budget
Levitt the other
deficit
day
by
that the ICE officer
27%.
acted belligerently in
in a single
shooting
year. Think of
Renee
that,
Good,
27.
and it sent
you
her
could do
off.
it.
Oh,
2%, 1%, a half a percent, 27%. And that's with all of the things we have to do, all of the people we have to put on the payroll to get rid of people that are murderers. Again, when you see people in Minnesota that are murderers, these people are fighting to keep them there. And I say to Christie and to Tom Homan, the great people, they're working so hard. Look at the border. The border is now secure. First time, Biden said you couldn't do it. You need legislation. I had no legislation. I said close the border. Within 1 month, we had almost nobody coming in. Now, for the last 8 months, nobody came into our country illegally.
Epstein.
And I find
Yeah,
that hard to
Linda.
believe because you'd think somebody, because it used to be millions of people just poured into our country. And the people that do that are Democrat sort of aligned. So, I mean, they're not doing me any favors. We had nobody come in. We have a very strong border. We have very few people coming up. They're not going to make
Tom
the trip
Homan, the
because they know
bag
they
man.
probably won't be coming
The
in. So
bag
it's
man.
not as hard as you think. But I didn't have to go back. Remember, they said, we need legislation to close the border. They had millions of people coming in a month. We have nobody coming in. And we're getting the murderers out. Murderers, people from prisons and jails. Many
Don, we
countries
already-
opened
we-
up
we
their
already covered
prisons
this,
and
buddy.
dropped them into the
Did you
United
forget
States.
about
Those are
that?
the people we're getting out.
We already covered
And we
this,
have a
man.
lot of heart. They said you gotta lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now on farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels and all. And we're not looking. We're looking to get the criminals out right now. The criminals, and I think it's very important. I mean, every once in a while you see a story, we take somebody. He should be out because they came in illegally. So in theory they should be, but we're focused on the murderers, the drug dealers, the mentally insane. We have a lot of mentally insane killers. I mean, you can't even talk to them. It'd be nice if you could have a little reason.
Yeah,
but you
Don,
can't
I
even
know,
reason.
man.
These are
We've heard this for
seriously
years.
ill
Let's
people.
go.
You have
Come on.
a couple of
Come on.
countries where
Come
they
on.
were loaded up. Their mental institutions and insane asylums were loaded to the gills. They couldn't get. They're empty now. But they're filling up because we're bringing them all back. We know where they came from, and every country accepts them. Under Biden, they wouldn't say. They had so little respect that they'd bring them there.
Dude, who cares
wouldn't
about
take 'em. They
Biden,
said,
man?
Get the hell out of here. They would be bringing a plane in to land in a
Who
country,
cares?
and they'd put 5 planes on the runway so you couldn't land the
Who
plane.
cares about Biden?
So they'd come back with the people that they were bringing back. They don't do that with me. They do that with me. They have problems. They don't do it. They accept them back.
Ooh,
They're
you're
not
so
happy
tough,
about it, but
Don.
they accept them
You're
back.
so tough. You're such
Got
a
a
tough
record
guy.
number of regulations. I promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. Instead, we cut 129 old regulations for each one added. Think of that. I wanted to do 10. In my first 4 years, I did. When we put on a new regulation, you had to cut 8. This year, I said you have to cut 10. Instead, we cut 129. So every time, so far, can't remain like that, I don't imagine. I hope I can, because we have so much wasted regulation. Stupid
I set out to
regulations.
cut 10, but we
Regulations
cut
when they go by California,
130.
which is a disaster state.
Man, Don,
With a governor that
sounds like you
truly
really knew what you
is
were
a
doing.
bad job. He's killing that state. If he ever ran the country, this country would be Venezuela very quickly. Using tariffs slash the U.S. trade deficit by an incredible 77%. The trade deficit is down, and that doesn't include the last month where we had our best month. We slashed the trade deficit by an incredible 77% in 1 year with no inflation, something that everyone said could not be done. So we had essentially no inflation.
Oh, just straight up lies.
In fact, the last
No
month we had
inflation, just
almost
straight
no
up lies.
inflation. But we slashed the trade deficit by 77%. If you slashed it by 1%, that was
Wait.
good.
Didn't he say it was
Again, we did that with
67%
tariffs
just
and-
like 10 minutes
and
ago?
Intelligence. We did that with November 5th. Great election.
Whoops.
We secured historic trade
Oh,
deals to
Donnie.
reduce barriers on U.S. exports with countries covering 40% of all U.S. trade. Think of that. American exports are up
Answer
by more
some
than $150
questions.
billion this year. People said, oh, we're not an exporting. All we do is buy. If you keep buying, you're not going to have a country for very long. So we increased exports by more than $150 billion.
I mean, if this is the
Investment
strategy
in
that he wants to
American
take
factories is
this
up
year leading up to the midterm elections,
41%.
he's
That's a
completely
record.
effed.
Nobody goes 41%.
Like, this is
up.
not
You go
working
2% up,
as
1%
he
up. You
like
go
floods
down
the
by
street with
3%.
ICE agents and talks about taking
If
over
Kamala got
Greenland,
elected,
but then he
the
just like
41% up would
boringly
be
reads these
41%
accomplishments, which are all
We
lies,
removed
right?
over 270,000
The American people
bureaucrats
have
from
seen
the
through
federal
this
payroll. That's
nonsense.
another
They've
thing.
seen through the con.
So,
So,
we have, we announced
not working.
our unemployment numbers.
like, this is their
Call it
strategy.
Unemployment or employment.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were very good, but we could make them great. But we've slashed tremendous numbers of people off the federal payroll. Because ultimately, if you're on the federal payroll, I mean, we have jobs where they had 10 people for every job. So we cut. Now, if you want to see some good numbers, I'll hire 1 million people. We cut millions of people off the federal payroll. I don't like doing that, but the good news, I don't feel badly because they're getting private sector jobs and they're getting sometimes twice as much money, 3 times as much money. They're getting factory jobs. They're getting much better jobs and much higher pay. But all I have to do is say, like, what the Democrats do all the time. They hire 1 million people, and then they hire another million. They load it up, and it says, oh, they only have a 3% unemployment rate. It's a fake rate. So with us, we're proud of the fact that we cut so many because, again, I don't want to cut people. But when you cut them and they go out and get a better job, I like to cut them. And sometimes they have to be forced to do that because, it's like they want to stay where they are. They don't know. And then all of a sudden they end up, we have many cases, Caroline, where people were devastated. They hated
Yeah,
Trump.
we're gonna cut
I
you,
got caught
Don.
from my very boring
We're gonna
federal
cut you
job where they
after
had,
these midterms,
again,
man.
sometimes 10 people to do one job. And they were very upset. And now they ended up with a job where they get paid 3 times more money. They're ending up buying houses. It's like crazy. So they went from not liking me to liking me a lot because it's hard to get. We need people.
Okay, if you're not lying,
It's
Don,
one
how
of the
about you?
reasons
How about
that
you
I
bring
wanna-
some pictures of those
when you
folks?
have good people
Right.
in the farm or good people in hotels.
This is a federal
and
worker
everything
who
else,
I
work there
fired,
as
and
much as
now
you can.
they're making
Under Biden,
7
1 out of 4
figures,
jobs
and
added
they've
was
bought
a
this huge
government
house.
job.
Show those pictures,
Think of
Don.
that.
Oh, that's right.
25%
You're
of the
full of
jobs
shit.
That's when you know that, that's 25% of jobs aren't real jobs. But again, I could do that. I could add 2 million jobs right now. Would have an unemployed. I could say just hire some more people. I do the opposite. I say get rid of everybody that's unnecessary because that's the way you make America great again. When you have, all these jobs where people are sitting around doing nothing and they get a lot of money by the government, it's no good. But that's what the Democrats do. They show, oh, we were at 4% unemployment. That's a good number. But they just add jobs, or they wouldn't cut. They would never cut jobs. Under Trump, 100% of all new jobs created have been in the private sector. Think of that. Not 1% has gone to federal. So under Biden, 1 out of 4 was a government job. Under Trump, 100% of the new jobs created, 100% came from the private sector. That's how you make your country wealthy and strong and good. We inherited the
He's
worst border in
talking
history
about
and turned it
such
into the
a
strongest border in history.
Tiny
Illegal
fraction
crossings have
of the
plummeted
job
to
market
the lowest level
in this
ever
country.
recorded,
I
down
mean, it's truly
99.999%.
truly delusional.
That means down 100%. 99.99. Now, I want to find out who that one person is. For 8 months in a row, and these are government numbers, these are not my numbers. For 8 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens were admitted to our country. 0.
Dude,
Nobody came in.
He
Unless they came in
these
legally. We have a
these are
big process
government
for having
numbers.
people come in
These
legally,
are
by the
not
way.
my
A lot of people
numbers.
coming in legally. They have to prove they
Like,
love our country. They
if
have to
that
prove
doesn't
that
raise
they're not
alarm
gonna
bells
need
for you coming
welfare,
from this
a lot
guy,
of
like
things
I
they
don't
have to
know
prove.
what does.
For
Like
the
I don't
first time in
trust a
50
single
years, we're
number
now
coming
seeing
from this
reverse
administration to this government.
migration.
Donald,
we're getting-
cherry
because we're
picking.
getting
Oh,
all
well,
of
these
these
are
illegal
government
people
numbers,
out.
so
People that came in
you
illegally.
can't argue with
many
them,
cases, they're
right?
criminals in many cases. You remember when they used
Yet
to
he has
say
spent
that
his
the
entire
people that come
political
into our
career
country as
railing
immigrants
against
are
government
very nice
numbers.
people. They're wonderful people. They don't commit
They're
crime.
all
No,
fake.
They make our
It's all a
criminals look like
fraud.
babies.
Except for
They
when
make our Hell's
I'm the
Angels
government, right?
look like the sweetest people on earth.
And the numbers
The
help
Hell's
me.
Angels are now considered a nice, high-quality person. I like the Hell's Angels. They voted for me. They protected me, actually, believe it or not. But they
Oh,
make
so
our
disgusting.
criminals look like babies. These are some of the most
Answer
vicious
some
people anywhere in the
questions,
world. They came
Donald.
from the Congo.
This is the press
The prisons,
briefing.
I know the Congo
This is
'cause I
not your
ended the
campaign
war with
event,
the
you
Congo
clown.
and Rwanda. Tough group, very tough group. They came from prisons in the Congo. Some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever meet. Thank you very much. They allowed him to come into America.
Oh, I thought he was gonna leave.
These are tough
I thought he
people.
was just gonna
Before
leave.
my election, 100%
Thank you very much.
of
I'm
net
gone.
job creation was going
Which
to
he
foreign
still might do.
migrants. Since my inauguration, 100% of the net jobs created have gone to American-born citizens. That's a big thing. In other words, we're now taking care of our people. 100% of net jobs created have gone to the American-born people. Before that, we didn't care. Designated Tren de Aragua, MS-13, and
Linda,
the Mexican drug
absolutely.
cartels as foreign terrorist
I'm going to be covering
organizations,
Jack
and we've hit 'em
Smith's
hard. You've seen
testimony
what
before
we've done on the
Congress,
water. We're
and it is
starting
going
do
to
that on
be a
land. The land is
terrible
much
day for
easier,
Donald
actually.
Trump.
Water is incredible. We did that on the water so that when you do it on the land, they don't go to the water. Nobody's going into the boat business right now, I can tell you. 97%
That's funny, Don.
down.
Your war
drugs
crimes are
coming in by water.
hilarious, Don.
97%. Nobody ever heard of that before. They heard 2%, 1%. It went up 2%. 97, and we're looking for the 3%. Who the hell are the 3%? They're crazy. But we've taken out almost 100% of the drugs coming in by water. Now we're going to be very shortly starting drugs coming in by land. We know exactly where they're coming from. Remove tens of thousands of illegal alien gang members, drug dealers, murderers, child predators, human traffickers, fraudsters, savage criminals, and others. We removed them from our country. They're out. They're gone. In some cases, they're so dangerous that we put them in jail because we don't want to give them to their country. Their country doesn't do anything, and they end up coming back. We have some that we're just, they're so bad that we don't want to really release them. We want to put them
Did
in
he
a
say
jail where we
fraudsters?
know they're properly,
Yeah, we're gonna put some fraudsters in jail.
ensconced.
Yeah, we are.
Think of that. Remove tens of thousands of illegal alien gang members, drug dealers, murderers, child predators, human traffickers, fraudsters, and savage criminals. Why wouldn't you want them removed?
That's you,
The
Don.
reason is because these are
That's you, Don.
insurrectionists that are doing this work. And, you know, they're going to make mistakes
Okay.
sometimes.
All right,
ICE is
Don.
going to be too rough with somebody, or, you know, they're dealing with rough people.
That's just the price
They're
we
gonna make a
pay.
mistake sometimes. It can happen.
You
I
lose
feel
your
terrible.
constitutional rights. That's just the price we pay, right?
I felt horribly when I was told that the young woman who was.
Oh my God, he's
it's a
repeating himself.
tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's a horrible thing. Everybody would say. ICE would say the same thing. But
He's repeating himself.
when I
If you're
learned
if you're
her
tuning in
parents
new to this, he has
and
already
her
talked
father in
about this.
particular is like, I hope he still is, but I don't know.
Yeah, man, this
He
guy's
was
lost
a
it.
tremendous Trump fan. He was all for Trump. Loved Trump. And you know, it's terrible. I was told that.
Yeah,
a lot
man,
of
you can
people
you can
say,
tell
"Oh,
he just like
loves
he
you." He-
doesn't want to
he
talk
was
to the
a-
press.
I hope he still feels
That's
that
what this
way.
is.
It's hard.
That's what
hard
this is.
situation, but
He's
her
scared
father was a
shitless
tremendous- and
to actually
parents
take
were
questions because
tremendous,
he's
Trump
going to
fans.
look like the
So
clown
sad. It
that
just
he is.
happens. It's terrible.
He loves talking. He loves
Call for
controlling.
all
He loves controlling the
refugee
mic.
admissions to the United States, including from Somalia, which is a terrible, terrible place, another dangerous place.
Do we think he's going
and we
to
also stopped the pirates because they get the same
to
treatment as the
slander
drug
or
boats. So
talk
in
down
Somalia,
to
the
a
Somalians,
female
You know
reporter?
what they're good at? That's about
I
the
can almost
only thing they're good
guarantee
at
it,
is They're
right?
good at pirating ships.
If
at
he
sea,
actually
big
takes a
ships.
question
So you have a huge
from
oil
a
tanker
like
with millions of gallons, millions
an
of
established
barrels
reporter.
of oil. And
An
if it gets
established
hit
female
by a big
reporter.
weapon, the whole thing blows up. And they don't want to fight because if they do, they're told by their insurance companies, do not hand over the ship. And they're not allowed to have any guns on the ship.
My God,
they're literally
so he's
you
like
have these
incredibly
massive
late
ships
to the
being
press
taken over
briefing.
by a Somalian small boat.
and now he's been
a
talking
big
for
weapon.
almost
Because if they hit the side
like
of the ship, the
45
ship can
minutes?
blow up. I mean, you talk about a blow up. Bad. We've seen some bad things happen. And the insurance companies, some of these ships cost more than $1 billion to build, and the insurance companies say, "Look, we'd rather give them money than take a chance on $1 billion."
We're bored. We're
Insurance
bored,
policy.
Donald.
But they don't
You're
have to worry
boring.
about it because we hit them the same way we hit the.
You're a moron and
people
you're
with the
boring.
drugs in their
Answer
boat.
questions from the press now, man. Come on.
They don't know what the hell happened. But all
Be a
of a
good little
sudden,
president. Come on.
There are no pirates at sea. Do you notice? We haven't had
Come
a
on.
boat taken in a little while. Came out of Somalia, really corrupt place. It's not a country. They don't have government. They don't have anything. I always hate to see this. Ilan Omar, she comes from Somalia, a backward country, probably the worst country. They say it's the worst country in the world, if it's a country. I don't even think it's a country. There's no organization, no anything. They don't have police. They don't have military. They don't have anything. They just have people running around, killing each other, and trying to pirate ships. But she'll come here, comes, and then she wants to tell us how to run our country. The Constitution says that I am entitled to this. I can't stand her.
You
Terminated
can't
all
stand
taxpayer-funded
her
benefits for legal
quoting the
aliens and kicked
Constitution?
275,000
You fucking
illegals off
clown.
of Social Security. They were illegally getting Social Security. 275,000 people. I'm telling you, it's not that this
Man,
is pleasurable.
you really got her
If I
there,
were an
Don.
elected president, this
Man,
country
she talks about the
was gonna be
Constitution.
destroyed quickly,
I can't stand
very
it.
quickly. I think
You
within a
clown.
year, if you had Kamala,
You
or a Joe
tyrant. You
type.
fascist.
I mean, Joe was a disaster, but if you had Kamala, he was the replacement. I was up by like 25 points on Joe, and they said, "Hey, let's get somebody else." This never happened. Well, I
Oh
I
my
had so many firsts.
God.
You're leading somebody by a lot, and they
He's
say, "Oh, let's
lost
take
it,
him out.
guys.
Let's put somebody." That's like I said to Dana White the other night. I said, "You know, Dana, it's like you have a fighter, two fighters. One guy is winning by a lot, and they say, 'Oh, let's take this guy out. Let's put a new fighter in the ring with him.'" That's what happened to me. I was doing great with Biden. The whole campaign was against Biden. All the money was spent against Biden, and all of a sudden I got Kamala. Everyone said, "Who the hell is she?" But that didn't work out too well for them. But never happened before. We are about lots of firsts. Designated English as the official language of the United States of America. We did that very powerfully. And while we're at it, we also took the Gulf of Mexico, and now it's the Gulf of America. Because we have 92% of the shoreline. It always bothered me. I'd say, you know, we have most of the shoreline. Mexico has a small percentage. Talks about 8%.
He's just giving
We
his
have
campaign
92%.
speech, man.
And I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? It should be the Gulf of America. I was going to call it the Gulf of Trump, but I thought that I would be killed if I did that. I wanted to do it. I wanted to. My people work so hard. Sir, I don't think it'll look too good. I'm telling you, it's a good thing. And it'll be hotter than ever, I said. No, but I decided not to do that. I'm joking, you know, when I say that. I
No,
was
you're
gonna
not,
call
man.
it the Gulf of Trump.
No, you're not, dude.
Because tomorrow
You
Trump wanted to call it the Gulf of Trump, but he was rebuffed
That's
by
what-
his people.
That's what you just
People
said.
don't rebuff me too much. The Gulf of Trump it does have a good ring, you know. Maybe we could do that. It's not too late. No, we have the Gulf of America now. It's great. It's our country is proud for the attack on Venezuela, the attack on the Iran nuclear capability, wiped it out. I mean, first administration, Soleimani, the father of the roadside bomb, al-Baghdadi, the father of ISIS, who was rebuilding ISIS. We wiped them out. done a great job. Signed an order that will end birthright citizenship for children of illegal
How are grocery
migrants.
prices
You know,
doing,
that
Don?
case is in court right now. That case
How
was
about
meant
utility
for
prices?
the children of slaves. All you have to do is look at the years.
Housing prices?
Look at the years where the cases were filed and
Ooh.
where the decisions were made.
Hiring?
They were right at the
Ooh.
end of the Civil
Ooh.
War.
But yeah, you attacked Venezuela and
So I
Iran
have to say that, you know, and China's making a big business
after
out
you
of
didn't
that. They come
say
to the
that you were
country,
going to
they
do
have a
that
child, the
during your
American citizen,
campaign.
they get all the benefits.
You told us
It
all
had
you were going to
nothing
cut
do with
prices.
That was
How are those
for
prices,
the
Don?
children of slaves.
You don't
And
want to
I
talk
hope
about
the
that, do
Supreme
you?
Court so rules.
No.
Designated
You don't wanna
fentanyl
talk
as a
about that,
weapon
little
of
Donnie,
mass
do you?
destruction. It is.
Do
We
you?
lost, I
Do you,
believe,
little Donnie?
300,000
Do
people
you?
last year. This year.
Oh, you don't, you little clown.
300,000 people. That's like filling up one of those big football stadiums 5 times. It's not even believable. I mean, you could be in a war and you wouldn't lose that many people. So we designated fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. Conducted numerous successful military strikes against narco-terrorists operating in our hemisphere, including the water strikes. Drugs brought in by ocean. So I told you that we're down by, I mean, close to 100%.
All right, he's getting up to 50 minutes without taking
It's
a
hard to
question. Okay.
somebody to pilot those boats.
All right.
They have to be people that don't watch television, don't read the news.
Yeah.
And we just blew up their
I mean, I knew
facility.
it was
They
going to
had
be
a docking
deranged.
facility
I knew
where
he
the
was going to
drugs
be the
were stored.
lunatic that he is.
And now we have a great relationship with Venezuela. We're getting along fantastically with the leadership in Venezuela. So we
I mean,
wouldn't have to do
I'm
that.
trying
This
to
was done
remember,
before-
like, so how
before the
what we
attack.
can expect from just this clown
But
show.
we captured and brought to
His campaign
justice the
speeches were
outlaw
like an
dictator of
hour and
Venezuela,
like a half, right?
Nicolas Maduro,
So
through
yeah, so we
drugs,
probably have like another like
killed
at
millions
least
of
10
people
minutes
in
of
our
this.
country. Tremendous drug dealer.
And then again,
Also
we'll
sent
see if he even takes questions because
millions of people into our country,
he is
including
a coward.
Tren de Aragua, the worst gang.
And
They
one
say
of the
it's
reasons
worst
why
gang
he's talking so much
in the
is
world.
because
They
he
took over
doesn't want
parts
to take
of
questions.
Colorado. They just take the apartment building. They just took it away. Just took it away like we're here. They cut the hand off one man because he called the police. Who called the police? I did. You took my apartment from me. Boom. No hand. This is what they sent us. Restoring law and order, new category. D.C. and Memphis, federal task forces deployed massive numbers of federal law enforcement officers and National Guard to restore safety. Crime down in D.C. is almost down to nothing.
Yeah,
D.C. was a very,
and I nod.
very dangerous place, and I think you probably know better than I do.
Verbal
I have a
diarrhea
lot
is
of people in the media
definitely
thanked me for that.
definitely a great
But,
way to
some of them
describe
found it hard to thank
what
me,
we're
but,
watching
you know,
here. It's what we've
DC
seen
is
from
now-
him for
look
the
how
past
it's
5
beautiful.
years. So,
DC
you
is
know,
now-
nothing new.
You can walk right from here to a restaurant, right through the center of town. You can be with your child, with your loved one, with your lover. Your lover's not going to be killed anymore, so you can act like
Your
a real
lover? Why does he sound
But
like
you can walk right through the middle of the town, and DC is beautiful again too. You notice we took all the fences down, almost all. The rest are coming down. Got the graffiti all off. National Guard's been amazing. You know, we didn't tell them to do that. That's not their job description. But they were picking up garbage and everything. They were great. And I don't know. To me, a town, it looks better when you have military people. These are big, strong guys. The bad guys look at them and they say, "We're not going to mess around." But what they don't know is that we took over 2,000 people permanently out of D.C. These were career criminals. But I feel much better seeing those people there. I went in a couple of times and had dinner in D.C. I walked right down the middle of the street. I felt very safe. A year ago, I couldn't have done that. I would have been crazy to have done that. And Secret Service wouldn't let me do it. They weren't thrilled anyway, I will tell you. It wasn't like they were thrilled, but we did it, and it was great. But D.C. is a great thing. And we have virtually no crime in D.C. anymore. And before we did this move, it was, and we could do the same thing with Chicago. You know, we brought Chicago down 25%, even though we just had a minimal crew there. We brought Wisconsin down. We brought Minnesota down, way down, even though everything's a fight, you know, because they want to keep those people that are lying on the floor. They want to keep those people in Minnesota, but they really don't. I don't think the real people of Minnesota, very corrupt place, and the elections are totally corrupt. I feel I won it all 3 times. Nobody's won that state since Richard Nixon. It's a rigged state. And the Somalians vote as one group, even if they're not citizens, and they vote as one group, and you get 600,000 votes against you. They all ought to get the hell out of here. They're bad for our country. Nationwide achieved the largest reduction in violent crime on record. So this just came out. Nationwide, over the last
Telling American
11 months,
citizens
achieved the largest reduction in
get
violent crime
out
on record, including
of
the
the
largest
country
one-year drop in murders
because they're
ever recorded. Almost
Let's be
2,000
real.
lives were saved. That's despite the fact that we took in
atrocious,
criminals
man.
under the leadership of the Democrats and Joe Biden. More
Yeah, man. That's
motor
like
vehicle
that's
theft
like the 6th or 7th
is
time
down
you
by
said that, man. So can we move on?
100,000 vehicles nationwide. That's
Let's
another.
move on.
Nationwide, the motor vehicle theft was out of control, and now it's very much in control. It was down by more than
This is so embarrassing.
100,000 vehicles to a record low.
The
Began
Biden count
process
at
of
23.
eliminating cashless
Yeah, that
bail
doesn't surprise
policies
me.
across the nation. You got to get rid of your sanctuary cities, and I hope our people know that we're not going to pay sanctuary cities. We're not going to pay them anymore. They are sanctuary for criminals. They hold criminals. We're not going to pay. They can sue us, and maybe they'll win, but we're not giving money to sanctuary cities anymore as of the beginning of the month. We began the process of eliminating the cashless bail. Well, cashless bail is where it all started. It's a disaster. And then other places. I don't know if it started in New York. I remember it starting in New York. So if somebody comes in, murders somebody, and they let them out, no bail, no nothing. Basically, cashless bail means you just get the hell out. And they go outside. We have one case where a guy murders somebody, gets released, and goes out and murders somebody. 2 people in one day. No, we got to get rid of cashless bail. They got to pay, got to have bail. There's a reason for bail. Long tested. Signed an executive order to bring back mental institutions and insane asylums. We're going to have to bring them back. Hate to build those suckers, but you got to get the people off the streets. We used to have, when I was growing up, we had in my area in Queens, I grew up in Queens, we had a place called Creedmoor. Creedmoor, did anybody know that? Creedmoor. It was a big, I said, Mom, why are those bars on the building? I used to play Little League baseball there, a place called Cunningham Park. Who's quite the baseball player, you wouldn't believe. But I said to my mother, Mom, she would be there, always there for me. She said, son, you could be a professional baseball player. I said, thanks, Mom. I said, why?
What
those
are we
bars
talking about,
on the
man? Okay,
windows?"
we're talking
Big
about
building. Big,
jail. I'm guessing.
powerful building. It loomed over the park, actually. It was pretty. She
Prison?
said, well,
Don.
people that are very sick are in that building. I said, boy, I used to always look at that building and I'd see this big building, big tall building. It loomed over the park. It was sort of, now that I think it was a pretty unfriendly sight. But I'll never forget, I don't know if it's still there, because they got rid of most of them, the Democrats in New York, they took them down, and the people live on the streets now. That's why you have a lot of the people in California and other places, they live in the streets. They took the mental institutions
It's
down.
a
They're
mental
expensive.
institution. Okay,
But
thanks
I
for
say,
telling
why
us
does the
that, Don.
building have those bars, boy? It wasn't normal. You used to look in
There's a
like
building there.
window.
When I was a
This one,
kid,
you look
I don't
at
know if
all
it's
the
still there or
steel,
not, but
vicious
the
steel,
Democrats took them
tiny
all down.
windows, bars all over the place.
Yeah. That
Nobody
tracks,
was
Don.
getting out.
That tracks,
So
Don.
the mental institution, that was an insane asylum. Designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, and many
Cool
others.
story, Don.
America is respected again on the world stage. That's another topic. Obliterated
No, we're not.
Iran's nuclear enrichment
we're not.
capability, and Operation Midnight
There are
Hammer was
literally
one of the most
people in
successful
Denmark
anyone's ever seen. CNN
holding
fake news,
protests
I don't know
with
where they are.
Donald
CNN,
Trump
anybody from
balloons
CNN?
getting humped from
Fake news.
behind.
Nobody wants to raise their hand anymore. They
So
used to,
no,
yeah.
Don,
Now if
we're
you're
not
with CNN,
respected
you
on the
don't raise
world
your hand.
stage.
They said, well, maybe it wasn't that successful, which I really was angry because these pilots took their life in their hands. 2 o'clock in the morning with no moon, dead
I mean,
dark.
one of these
gun
reporters
shooting
has to
at 'em.
interrupt him, right?
They went in with
At
those
this point,
beautiful B-2s
and just be like, "I'm sorry,
every
sir.
single bomb went down in that
Like,
shaft.
we've heard this
And
before.
obliterated
You
it.
gotta answer
And
questions,
CNN
man.
came out and said, "Well, maybe it
Like, come
wasn't
on,
by
some of these
by a
reporters,
scam writer.
you're
a
gonna
scam
lose your
writer who
seat,
wrote,
but
fake stories,
jeez.
a lot of fake stories on other
Have some-
topics, right? That's when we
some
did it. We said, that's a
courage.
terrible thing. The pilots came back and they said, we hit everything. They did a great job. Then on top of that, we launched from a submarine about 30 Tomahawks on top of everything else. The place was obliterated. CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. Turned out it was worse than it was. You know who could tell you that? The Iranians would tell you that. Because if they do anything, they're going to have to start a brand
Yeah,
new
Fret.
place.
See, right? Like,
But they
if
did
they
an
do walk
amazing
out,
job.
though, and
That
see,
was
this is the
a-
problem. Do you see
was
that
like
shot of them,
what we did with
all
Venezuela.
of those
I mean,
reporters
nobody's
standing
ever
on the
seen a
side?
military
That's to
operation.
remind
Ended
the
8
established reporters
unendable wars in 10
in that
months. These were
room that if
unendable
they
wars. Cambodia
if they
and
speak
Thailand
out,
fighting for
if
years.
they
Kosovo and
protest,
Serbia,
they will be
the
replaced
Congo
like
and Rwanda,
like that.
Pakistan
And so
India.
that's
they were
what
really
that
going
is.
at it.
It
8
is
planes
Carolyn
shot
Levitt
down. They were
and
gonna
the
go
Trump
nuclear, in my
administration
opinion.
threatening
The,
reporters by
Prime
bringing in
Minister
all of these
of
right-wing
Pakistan was here,
sycophants
and he said President
to
Trump
stand there
saved
and
10
to
million
like
people, and
lord
maybe much
over
more than
them.
that. They're
It's
both
a
nuclear
direct threat.
countries.
Like, you speak out, you
Israel
act
and
up,
Iran.
and we're just going to replace you.
Egypt and Ethiopia were going to fight over a dam. And
But
got
I
them to stop. I guess they've gotta
Absolutely
work it out
agree with you that they all need to just
because
walk
they
out.
put a dam up in
Only thing
Ethiopia
is,
that
the
stops
room would be
the
filled
flow
with
from-
sycophants who are just like asking the
river
most
called the
deranged
Nile.
and
I always think of the Nile being in Egypt,
and
you
wild
know, beautiful
questions
Nile
that
with
just
the pyramids,
parrot
but
the Trump administration's
they put a
talking
dam
points,
up. You know
and
who
that
paid
would
for the
be
dam?
really
The United
dangerous,
States of America. It's the
really
biggest dam,
really
I think, in the
dangerous
world.
moving forward.
They put a dam up. I said, how did you let that happen? Why would we have done that? We
Yeah.
financed it. This
Okay.
country would.
Somebody
I
made a
don't know,
comment.
maybe
We've
it
reached
was
an
a
hour
Republican
mark.
president, but I don't think it was. I think
Yeah.
it was a Democrat. But
We've reached
what
an
a
hour
terrible
of him
thing.
just talking.
So Egypt basically
And-
is, they don't have enough water in the Nile, and they use that for
And we'll see. We'll see if he answers any questions or has
a
any
lot of
interactions with
things,
reporters.
including entertainment and travel and tourism.
But it would
and
not
everything.
surprise
I
me
mean,
if he
I
just
don't
takes
know.
a couple
We got
questions
a
from
big dam. I gotta
the
work
right
that
wing
one out now,
sycophants
too.
and then just leaves.
Armenia and Azerbaijan. President Putin
Is he talking about the
told
wars?
me,
that
I
he-
cannot believe you settled that war. I've been
Yeah.
trying to settle that war for 10
Uh-huh.
years. Armenia and Azerbaijan. They were fighting it for many, many years. And I ended up getting the heads of both countries in my office. The beautiful Oval Office, much more beautiful now than it ever was. And one sat on one side, one sat on the other. He said, you know, I've been the head of Azerbaijan for 22 years, and for 22 years I've been killing his people. And the other gentleman, and both very good guys, said, I've been here for 7 years, and for 7 years I've been killing his people. And they started over there, and within an hour they were next to each other, and by the time we ended, they were hugging each other, and it's been a great peace, you know? Should have gotten the Nobel Prize for each war, but I don't say that. I say millions and millions of people. And don't let anyone tell you that Norway doesn't control the shots, okay? It's in Norway. Norway controls the shots. They'll say, we have nothing to do with it. It's a joke. They've lost such prestige. That's why I have such respect for Maria doing what she did. She said, I don't deserve the Nobel Prize. He does. When she got it, they said, wow, that's amazing. I thought President Trump would get it. President Trump deserves it. He ended up 8 wars. How nice, right? Good woman. Got all 20 living hostages returned to their families, and the remains, they all came out. We got the 20 living hostages. We got the 28 hostages. They have 1 left that we think we know where it is. Amazing. Looked like we weren't going to get anywhere near that. Now they've gotten almost. And more importantly, we got many more, hundreds. We got them all. If we didn't do it, you wouldn't have had, most of those people would have been dead. I don't know if that's covered properly, but you know, the 20 is great. They were the last ones. I always said the last 20 are going to be hard, but we got them. We got the last 20, and we got close to 28 of the bodies of the dead. And to those parents, that was just as important as getting their son back alive. They were almost even more intent on getting. They knew their son was dead. They wanted to get the body. I got him back. We just created the Board of Peace, which I think is going to be amazing. I wish the United Nations could do more. I wish we didn't need a Board of Peace, but the United Nations, and you know, with all the wars I settled, the United Nations never helped me on one war. I mean, I guess I'm not blaming them. I didn't call them to help, but I got, you know, the presidents and prime ministers together. We knocked heads. We got along, and they liked me. I liked them. Every single one of them nominated me for a Nobel Prize. Every one of the wars, among many.
I'm pretty
others,
sure he just said the other day that he didn't really
nominated me
care
for a
about the Nobel Peace
But
Prize,
Putin
which is
told me,
just
I cannot believe
clearly
you got this war settled. I've worked
a
on it
joke.
for 10 years because it's
He has brought it up
his
multiple
territory.
times in just
Rescued
the past
83
few
American
minutes.
hostages and citizens detained from abroad without paying a lot of money. Paid no money. Apprehended terrorists responsible for the Abbey Gate bombing that claimed the lives of 13 U.S. service members in Afghanistan, the lowest point in the history of our country. That was a Biden disaster. I was getting out, but I was getting out with dignity and strength. We were the boss. Oh, we were the boss. They wouldn't do a thing against us. And this very stupid person got in, and what a shame. They should have left from Bagram, which is the big military base, which has hundreds of acres around it. Should have left from Bagram. Terminated visas of Hamas sympathizers and deported pro-jihad foreign nationals. Got NATO members to agree to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP from 2%, and they pay the 5%, and they didn't pay the 2%. And by the way, I did more for NATO than any other person alive or dead. Nobody's done for NATO. And I think for the most part, they'll tell you that. I think you could ask the Secretary General about that, but he said it a lot. I've done more for NATO than anybody, and I see all this stuff, but NATO has to treat us fairly, too. The big fear I have with NATO is we spend tremendous amounts of money with NATO, and I know we'll come to their rescue, but I just really do question whether or not they'll come to ours. You know?
All right,
Just
let's see if he's wrapping this up here.
Just saying, right? You remember during the debate? Just saying. Signed $1 trillion
No
investment in U.S.
No one
military.
remembers what you're talking about,
And
Donald.
next year we hopefully will go to 1.5 trillion. We're building battleships that are 100 times more powerful than the battleships of World War II, which are the big, beautiful, those big, beautiful things with the guns. I said, what about bringing them out of dry dock? They said, sir, what we're building will blow them away. Think of it. These ships are 100 times more powerful than the battleships that you see on Victory at Sea. Do you ever see Victory at Sea? What a great thing that is to watch. Renamed the Department of Defense into the Department of War, which everyone loves, by the way. Signed landmark critical minerals deals with Australia, Malaysia, Thailand, Ukraine, Japan, and many others. We're going to have so much rare earth. It's actually not that rare. Getting it processed is rare, but there's a lot of rare earth. There's a lot of earth around, I can tell you. Withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization where we were paying hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
There's a lot of earth
So we were paying
around.
$500
Brilliant quotes
million
from
a
Donald
year.
Trump.
And China is paying $37 million a year. I said, why aren't we paying the same as China? They said, well, nobody asked. I said, China's got 1.4 billion people. We have 350 million, probably with all the illegals, you know. China probably knows more accurately. But we have much smaller in terms of the number of people. We have a much more powerful military, but we have much smaller. I rebuilt the military during my first term, by the way. And while they gave away a lot to Afghanistan, the Taliban, which was just horrible seeing them, every year seeing them do that military down some dirty street is a disgrace. But while Biden gave a lot of it away, it's a tiny fraction compared to what we did. I rebuilt the military, and now we're continuing to build it. And bigger and better, we need it, peace through strength. But we withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. So I remember we were paying $500 million. They were paying 37 or 39 million. And I said, how come? So I withdrew, and they called, we'll give you the same deal that they had. I said, well, it should be less than that, because if they're at 37 and you have 3 times, 4 times the number of people, even maybe 5 times, I don't know.
Man,
So
we
it
are
should be
getting
less,
up
but
there.
I didn't wanna
70 minutes.
chisel around. And I thought about it. So I could have taken 500 million to 37, and everybody knew it. I chose not to do it because it was actually very popular when I got out, because they were terrible. And so I chose not to take that deal. First thing Biden did is go back into it. You know what he paid? More than 500 million. So I actually called them. I said, you know, you can buy it for less. You can make a deal at 37. There's no reason to pay 500. They didn't care. They paid more than 500. Did you know that? They paid more than 500 million. I made a deal at 37. I could have had 37. They were public about it. We'll give you the same deal that China has for 37. And they paid 500. They paid $500 million. That's the way you ruin a country. And it's the same attitude that, you know, you have on everything else with these people. They were terrible. The anti-American UN Human Rights Council we ended. The UN Relief and Works Agency we ended. And the fake Paris Climate Accord, which was a ripoff of America, where we had to pay $1 trillion and they were paying nothing. China didn't kick in until
What a brag.
2035.
We got rid
kicked
of
in
the UN
immediately. We're
Human
supposed to pay
Rights
$1 trillion.
Council.
Russia
What?
went to a standard of 1991,
My
which was
God.
a dirtier standard.
Ugh.
But we had to pay top dollar. So I terminated that. Another Rick. We ended the woke lunacy and restored common sense, abolished all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI policies throughout the federal government.
Okay,
and the
Don.
private
All
sector.
right,
They're
wrap it up,
gone,
buddy.
Everybody, they're gone. Terrible. Terminated the Green New Scam and ended the insane electric vehicle mandate. I love electric vehicles. That caused me a little problem with a man named Elon. But he understands, and he's a good guy. We get along. But I said, Elon, we can't have all electric cars. We just can't do it. I like the electric cars. I like his car. But in particular, I like his car.
Why, Don? Why
But we
can't cars
do
be
that
electric?
because
Why?
some people don't want an electric car by 2030.
Oh,
And to build the power
Okay.
stations all over the country would have cost $4 trillion. $4 trillion. That's more than any country has. If you got China, the United States, and everywhere,
yeah,
you
that's
couldn't
called
do it.
leadership, Don,
And it
right?
would have taken years.
That's
and
called
yet they were
leadership
supposed to
into
be
a
switching
cleaner,
over
more sustainable
electric vehicle
future,
mandate. Some people
right? But
don't
see,
like
Donald
electric
doesn't give a
cars. Some
damn
people want hybrids.
about
Some
what
people
happens
want regular
after he
gasoline-powered
dies.
cars. We have more gasoline
Right.
than anybody. now with
He just
Venezuela,
wants
we have
everything
we
now.
have 62% of the market when you include Venezuela.
Future generations
So
be damned.
I ended the Green New Scam, and I ended the insane electric vehicle mandate. Now you can buy a gasoline-powered car, a hybrid, and you can buy a electric vehicle. I mean, if you think
You could
if
do
you
that
want
before
electric, you can buy
numbnuts.
it. Make
What
a
are you
good
talking
deal on
about,
them
man?
Right now, because they made a lot of them. Permanently stopped Joe Biden's ridiculous cafe standards. That's having to do with the environment. So ridiculous. Canceled the EPA's absurd, totally absurd, tailpipe emission standard, which made you spend hundreds of thousands. It made for hundreds of thousands of cars. The numbers. The cost numbers were incredible that the consumer has
I
to pay.
dare you to
Imposed
go into
25%
detail about
tariff
that.
on all
Nope.
foreign
Oh,
automobiles
no, okay.
and
No.
100% tariff on Chinese cars which don't come into the country because of tariffs. Only because of tariffs. We didn't have tariffs. You wouldn't have any car. We have now more car
Chinese
factories
vehicles,
being
man.
built in the United States than ever before because of tariffs. If they take those tariffs away, China will eat our lunch. They'll take all of our car business. Now, there's another way of doing it,
Donald,
but
you
it's more
fading?
cumbersome, et cetera, et cetera.
You need
I
a
don't wanna
nap,
scare
Donald?
you, but it's much
You're
more
slowing down a
cumbersome,
little
not
bit,
as
buddy.
good, not
Getting
as
a little
good financial
quieter.
security as this. We have a perfect system right now. We're making a fortune. We've never been stronger, and I hope the Supreme Court does the right thing for our country. Because if they don't, it's such a problem. It's just so. It would be so sad. We're doing so well because of tariffs.
Oh, okay.
And the
tariffs.
people
Okay.
that are heading up the lawsuit,
What is he talking about?
like there's a guy named Leonard Leo, who's bad guy, and people that are very China-oriented and foreign car-oriented and foreign business-oriented, but in particular China, they're suing to get rid of tariffs because they don't want tariffs, like Coke.
Okay.
Coke has
An hour and 15. This
businesses
is kind of where I
outside
thought
of the
he
United
would be
States. If you
wrapping
have them
up.
outside, they don't want tariffs. But because of tariffs,
My
they treat
goodness.
us well. Without tariffs, they would treat us very badly. As you saw for many years, they respect us more now than they ever have respected us by a lot. And revoked the California emissions waiver to stop San Francisco communists from regulating the automobile industry and destroying automobiles and the industry in the nation. I was with
San
Bill Ford of
Francisco
Ford
communists.
Motors. I was with
Wow.
all the people at General Motors the other day, and they are making more money and building more cars than they've ever. They are doing so good, all because of tariffs and what I've done. And they're building their plants all in the United States. Reopened Anwar for drilling. That's a big deal. Launched a massive Alaskan pipeline project to export natural gas to Asia. We made a deal with South Korea and with Japan that gives us money, the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. Signed executive orders to end Biden's war on coal and put, I say, clean, beautiful coal. I never say the word coal. It has to be preceded by the words clean, beautiful coal. And put miners back to work. The miners love Trump. I think I got 100% of their vote. We banned transgenders from the military. We don't want transgender in the military. Ordered reinstatement of patriots expelled from our military with full back pay. So we had some people that were terminated, and they're coming back into our military. Fired the woke boards of visitors at our military service academies. The boards of visitors were run by radical left, maybe communists, maybe not, but they were still heavily radical left, and they were bad for us. Signed an executive order to remove anti-American propaganda from federal
Everybody's a
museums and national
communist if they
parks.
disagree with me.
Required the federal employees to return to work in person or be fired. We don't want them sitting in their home on their bed working. We want them in an office that we're paying for in Washington, D.C., or wherever it may be. And we've largely taken care of that mess. That was crazy. I guarantee you they're out on the ball fields. I guarantee you they're out playing golf. And you can't run a country or a company that way. I think it's happening even so with countries and companies. But we had so many of our federal workers, they wouldn't come into work. Signed an order banning all government censorship and restoring free speech. Made it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders. This was not a tough one. Two genders. Can anybody guess what they are? Male and female. I think the Democrats know that too, but they refuse.
Did he have to
admit it.
look down at the
Ban the
paperwork?
use of puberty
female?
blockers, hormone injections, and other chemical and
Yikes.
surgical mutilation of children. Can you imagine saying this 15 years ago? That we banned the use
Dude, I can't imagine you're
of
talking about this
puberty
now.
blockers, hormone injections,
Let's be real.
and other chemical and surgical
It's
mutilation
disgusting.
of our children.
That you're
You know, when
using
I say
this
it, I say
for
it's-
political purposes.
Do I have to say that? I actually asked my people today. yes,
Disgusting.
sir, because people, that's where the country went. Banned men from playing in women's sports.
Ay, ay, ay.
Big Supreme Court case on that. I mean, I can't believe it. Some of the justices were fighting hard for men to be able to play. In women's
W.
sports.
Gu
A couple
Ettrick.
of 'em. I can't
Thanks for the
imagine
super
it.
chat. He has to
I
have a
think anybody
catheter
that rules
bag.
That way should.
I mean,
should
one can
lose
only
a lot of
imagine.
credibility. We banned men from
He
playing
has
in
that,
women's sports. All you have
especially
to do is
going
look at
this
the records.
long.
Look at weightlifting records. Look at swimming records. Look
At
at
his
track and
age?
field. It's not fair. It's very demeaning to women. Banned transgender
It would be
ideology
hilarious
and
if
critical race theory from our
somebody-
schools.
If one of these reporters like
Secured
brought up the stench in the room,
Unprecedented settlements
because you
with
know that this guy is
Brown
like just
University,
flatulent like
Columbia
crazy.
University, and many other colleges, including the University of Pennsylvania, where I went, the great old Wharton School of Finance. To restore fairness and merit, we're working with Harvard right now. They've been very anti-Semitic. Terrible what they've
Holy
done.
shit! When he brought that
We'll
stack
see
of
what
paperwork,
happens.
I really didn't
Here
think
we
that
have
he
a
would
deal, but
like
who the hell knows with them? They have a lawyer that
try
wants
to
show
read it
how
all,
hot
but
he is.
It looks like that's what we're doing
Ended
here, folks.
taxpayer-funded student loan forgiveness for radical left and anti-American activists. Can you believe it? Began the process of abolishing the Federal Department of Education and returning education back to the states. And Linda McMahon is doing a fantastic job.
I honestly think he
Ended
doesn't
Joe
know
Biden's
half of what
weaponization
he's
of our
talking
government
about.
and removed his hand-picked radical left Marxist prosecutors from the Department of Justice, like Deranged Jack Smith. He's a sick son of a bitch.
He's going to destroy you on
They
Thursday,
gave me the
man.
worst of the worst. And here I am.
Yeah, you know,
did
the
that happen?
Hague prosecutor,
How did that happen?
right? The
He's a
prosecutor
sick
who
guy, and
went after
Letitia
war
James is
criminals.
sick.
Yeah, well,
And
yeah,
Alvin Bragg
he's
is
sick.
They're sick people. And others. Fanny. You can't call her Fanny. She doesn't like it. She wants to be called Fanny. Fanny Willis.
Yeah, you mean her name?
I
Dick?
Can you imagine putting somebody through that? And then if I suggest that somebody may be guilty of a terrible crime, oh, he's weaponizing government. Trump is weaponizing government. It's terrible. Can you imagine? They say to me about weaponize, I don't weaponize anything. But what they did to me, nobody ever went through what I went through. And here I am in a place called the White House. It's a beautiful place. Who would have thought, right? Signed legislation to cut all taxpayer funding to woke and biased NPR and PBS. And they're sort of gone now, I guess. I heard they closed up. They were terrible. They were so unfair. They were so terrible. Officially reinstated Columbus Day. I like the name Columbus Day. The Italian people are very happy about it. Remember, when you go to the voting booths, I reinstated Columbus Day. That was an easy one. Christopher Columbus. Cut Social Security wait times by 50%, serve 65% more Social Security recipients by phone, and are on track to doubling the service and performance compared to the Biden administration. We're 2.5 to 3 times better and faster. Slash VA claims backlog to the lowest number ever recorded. Created Trump accounts starting with $1,000 for every newborn baby. This is something that's become so popular. And I give Mr. and Mrs. Michael Dell Computer, who put in $6,250,000,000, started with nothing. And he actually invested all that money to give to kids so that when they grow up, they have an account that might be worth a lot of money. It'll be riding with the markets. And, you know, they can, at 20 years old, 21 years old, they could have $100,000. They could have a lot of money. That's going to be amazing. But I give a lot of credit to Mr. and Mrs. Michael Dell. Signed AI executive order to ensure the United States dominates the future of artificial intelligence. So we're leading China. We're leading the whole world. We're producing more electricity than we ever have.
Over an
because I'm
hour and
allowing
20
every
minutes.
one of those plants to build their own electric facility.
Thank
We're
God
giving
we
them
still
very,
have
very
Columbus
fast
Day.
approvals, unlike Los Angeles with a fire.
Yeah.
So the federal government, I want to
Only
give a
the
lot of
biggest
credit to
wins
Lee
here,
Sullivan.
folks.
The hardest approval for the 20,000 houses or more that burned down in Los Angeles because they didn't have the water. They didn't allow the water to come down from the Pacific Northwest. They routed the water into the Pacific Ocean. So we had no water there. No, he had.
This is called sundowning.
I would say open up the
Yup.
water. Open it up to the governor, to the mayor. They didn't want to do it. They wanted to protect a tiny little fish that's, you know, I said, how can you have a fish when you don't have any water? It was just an excuse, I guess. But it's amazing. We took 20,000 houses, and Lee Zeldin, the toughest permit is from the federal government. Within 2 weeks, every single permit was given to the people to build their houses. Then you have the incompetent mayor of Los Angeles. He's neutral, who decided to go to Africa during the fire. So you have this incompetent mayor, and I had it out with her the night.
She was
I
there
got
when
right
it
after the fire, I
happened.
went there.
It's a little
She
different.
said, we're working on it so that we can have everybody starting to build within 2 or 3 years. Remember that? I said, you mean 2 or 3 days? No, I mean 2 or 3 years. And the place went crazy. Well, They still haven't gotten their permits. But every federal permit, every single one has been given a year ago. And Lee Zeldin has done a great job. And he's done a great job in the approval of all these big plants and factories and all of the electricity that they're creating for themselves. I said to Zuckerberg, I said to all of them, I said to Jeff Bezos, I said to everybody. Mark Zuckerberg couldn't believe it. He said, you know, where are we going to get all the electricity? Because you need double the electricity that the country currently makes just to fire up those big plants. I said, well, nobody can do that. So what we're going to do is let you make your own electricity. Nobody believed it. And I said, we're going to get you fast permits. So we get them within 2 weeks. And they're coming up with some of the most incredible electric plants you've ever seen. So each one of those massive buildings, AI or otherwise, is building their own electricity. They're building their own plant. And it's incredible. Many of them are under construction already. They're going to have, we're leading AI and we're leading China by
An hour and
a lot.
25 minutes.
Established a MAHA presidential commission, banned many artificial food dyes, as you know, issued new vaccine recommendations, and created new real food pyramid. And Bobby and Dr. Oz have been incredible. Provided $12 billion in aid for American farmers. Just gave them $12 billion in aid because they got screwed by other nations. And the number of drug dealers have fallen every single month since I took office. Drug dealers are way down in the United States. And that's a small version of what's sitting right there. That's just a small version. We took a country that was dead, and it's the hottest country in the world right now, and that's after war.
There it is. I was waiting
So,
for that.
Let's go.
There we go.
That's a lot of people. All right, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I have two questions for you. One, do you want your Board of Peace to replace the UN?
Well, it might. I mean, the UN just hasn't been very helpful. I'm a big fan of the UN potential, but it has never lived up to its potential. The UN should have settled every one of the wars that I settled. I never went to them. I never even thought to go to them. They should be able to settle those wars. They don't. I believe you got to let the UN continue because the potential is so great.
And I wonder you invited Lula from Brazil to be part of the Board of Peace.
I did.
What role do you
I did.
expect him to play, especially
big role. I like
God,
it.
he's so
Venezuela?
gross when
And
you look at him
another
from that
one,
angle.
because
Are you from
I mean,
Brazil?
from any angle, but
The
especially
EU and Mercosur just
this
signed
angle.
a trade agreement.
And of
this week,
course he
which is
picks
gonna
on-
be
he
the
picks a
biggest,
Brazilian
trade
reporter.
Free zone
Okay.
in the world.
Okay, Dawn.
At the moment, you are talking a lot about tariffs. What is your reaction to that? So, two questions, Lula.
Well,
and then
look, I just think this. I think we have trade like we've never had before.
How about
We're
you
doing
ask
better
about
on trade
the
than
former
we ever
Brazilian
have
president
before.
who is
We're not
in
being ripped off
jail
by every
for
country
trying
in
to
the world
overthrow
like
their
we were
democracy?
before.
How about you ask him
Uh,
about
we're
that?
doing-
What he thinks
we're
about
doing
that?
numbers that nobody's
What he
ever
thinks
thought
about his
of.
future
We're the
in
richest
jail?
we ever were. It's because of tariffs and the proper use of tariffs, and we're also the most secure. As an example,
prison.
Iceland, without tariffs, they wouldn't even be talking to us about it.
Very
So we'll
own
see what
Hunchback of
happens. I think
Mar-a-Lago.
It's going to work out quite well.
That's good.
Yeah, right behind.
That's good.
Mr. President, how would you characterize your relationship with Emmanuel Macron and Keir Starmer right now? And have you spoken to them since your Truth Social post last
No, I
night?
haven't, but I think I get along very well with them. I mean, they always treat me well. They get a little bit rough when they're, when I'm not around, but when I'm around, they treat me very nicely. And I like both.
He
of
knows
them.
that they talk
They're both
trash behind
liberal.
his back. That's exactly what that means.
They've got to straighten out their countries. You can't, London is.
Yep. Like he
having a lot of
knows. He
problems,
knows
and
these
if you look
European
at
leaders thinks
Paris, got a
he's
lot of
just the biggest
problems.
joke.
They have two problems: immigration and energy. They got to stop with the windmills, and they got to go back. Like UK has an unbelievable asset called the North Sea. Norway uses it, makes a fortune. They have a better section of it, and they don't do it. They could straighten out their countries, and it would be good. But I get along very well with them. Yeah, go ahead.
You told Norway's prime minister.
Are you from Norway?
No.
You look
you
like
told-
you would be from. She looks like she's from Norway. Go ahead.
You told Norway's prime minister that you not winning the Nobel Peace Prize made you feel less obligated to think purely of peace.
Well, I
Why would
lost a
not-
lot of respect for Norway. And
But why
I
would not
believe,
winning
and
that
I believe
prize
very
affect-
strongly that Norway controls the Nobel Prize. But you have to understand, I settled 8 wars. I've had every one of those wars, every participant wrote, I didn't ask them to do it. They sent in strong they make recommendations for that. But I settled 8 wars. No president's probably ever settled 1 war. I don't know, think of it. I did 8. The reason I do it is because it's easy for me to do.
What?
And I didn't do it for a Nobel
No
Prize. I
president
did it
has
because I'm
ever
saving
settled
lives.
a
I'm trying
war?
to settle the final one. I'm trying to do Russia-Ukraine. And when Russia's
Donald
ready,
Trump,
Ukraine's
the
done.
historian.
When Ukraine's ready, Russia's done. But they're losing 25,000 people a month on average. And I'm trying to get that one done. But no, I feel that Norway has tremendous control over who gets the Nobel Prize, despite what they say.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
All right, so he's answered like probably 4
Kevin
questions.
Hassett has said that those $2,000 tariff rebate checks would be up to Congress to decide whether or not to disperse that. Do you agree with Kevin Hassett on that, or do you think you can do that unilaterally?
No, I don't think we would have to go the Congress route, but we'll find out. The reason we're even talking about it is that we have so much money coming in from tariffs that we'll be able to issue at least a $2,000 dividend and also pay down debt for the country. But we'd do a $2,000 dividend
That
to
we
the
paid
people of our
for.
country. It would
That
probably set a
we
limit of,
paid for.
income limit where it made sense. But we will be able to make a very substantial dividend to the people of our country.
If
I believe
that
we
even
can do that
happens.
without Congress.
If that even happens.
Last night on Truth Social, you said that the British plan to hand the base of Diego Garcia over to Mauritius and then rent it back was an act of great stupidity. Previously, you've backed that deal. Is it now your position that the deal should not go ahead?
I think that they, when they originally were going to do it, they were talking about doing some concept of ownership. But now they're looking to essentially just do a lease and sell it. And I'm against that. It's a reasonably nothing like Greenland, but it's a reasonably important area of the globe. Not to anywhere near Greenland, but I think they should keep it. I don't know why they're doing it. Do they need money?
Mr. President, with your support to the Syrian government, most probably you avoided another civil war and a bloodshed in Syria, especially after the fall
I
of the
did a
regime.
good job. I did a good job.
I'm a good
The
boy.
Syrian government, the last 2 weeks,
Man,
had to use some
he's-
force to implement
he is a
its force
child.
on specific areas. And
Well,
with your
to keep the prisoners, the terrorist prisoners, which are some of the worst in the world,